Retrieving the egg will lead to a final test. He must break the egg in front of the world. The contents must touch the divine waters from which I speak to restore balance. The curse will fade like mist by the rising of the sun. Darkness and light will be reconciled. The voice fades, leaving deep, hopeful, quiet thoughts in their mind. Obinna felt frightened and returned home with his parents. The next day, he started to prepare for his journey. Word quickly spread around the village that he was planning to search the 7 seas for an egg. No one had ever survived, but Obinna was determined to embark on the journey. He was tired of his situation and wanted to break the curse. Obinna was ready to depart the following day, and many people mocked him, while others eagerly awaited his return. After a long day of packing, his mother gave him a bag with food and water and wished him well. The next morning, he set out in the forest. After walking a long distance, he decided to rest. But as he was resting, a spirit who resembled his mother appeared. The spirit warned him not to go into the forest because it was dangerous. He wanted to listen because the woman sounded so much like his mother. Then he remembered that his mother was far away, and he rebuked the spirit, saying that his mother couldn't possibly accompany him all the way into the forest. The spirit then laughed and vanished. Obinna continued his journey through the forest, guided by the moonlight. He crossed the first 2 seas without much trouble. The next day, he arrived at the 3rd sea. There, he encountered a young girl who told him he was very handsome and that he couldn't wait to be his wife. It was the first time anyone had ever taken interest in Obinna. The girl then asked him to hug her, and Obinna was tempted to do so because it would break the curse. However, as he drew near to the girl, he noticed he was still in the forest, and a girl of her age couldn't possibly live there, so he rebuked her. This journey through the forest was getting harder for Obinna with each temptation, but he was determined to complete his mission. In the 4th river, the waves were harsh and the sky was dark with lightning sounds. It seemed like the rain was about to fall. From the river bank, he could see faces mocking him, calling him a short and ugly dwarf. Who must be thinking he could come here and steal the sacred egg and then leaves. They were laughing at him. "You will die in the forest," they said. Obinna was terrified and wanted to turn around, but he reminded himself that it was still daylight, so he ventured into the river, unconcerned about the reflections of the faces in the water. Suddenly, the light returned and he crossed the 4th river. Every river had its challenges, but Obinna was determined to break the curse and look like normal boys his age. When he arrived at the 7th river, he got confused. There were 2 rivers that looked similar. Obinna was still contemplating on which way to take when 2 ladies appeared before him. One of the ladies was young and pretty, while the other was ugly and a dwarf like Obinna. The young lady told Obinna to follow the river on the left, while the dwarf ugly lady told Obinna to take the river on the right. Obinna was confused, but something called to him. Why will a pretty lady show an ugly dwarf the right way? Obinna knew was another temptation, so he followed the river by which the ugly dwarf had pointed to. As he followed the river and walked further, he saw a shrine by his right. The shrine was empty and abandoned. Then he saw the egg, which he was asked to bring. He walked boldly, and as he was about to pick the egg, an old woman appeared and said to him, "My son, you look so tired. Why not eat first?" Showing him a roasted yam and an oil in the calabash just beside her. But Obinna replied saying, "Ma, I just want to take the egg and go home." The woman laughed and said, "Not without a fight," as she raised her hand to strike him. Immediately, Obinna quickly took the egg, and suddenly he appeared very close to the village. He gave a deep sigh of relief and almost teary as he couldn't believe he conquered the 7 seas. After Obinna returned, he headed for the great river, and everyone in the village who had heard rumors of his return followed suit. Obinna, who appeared exhausted and hungry, stood before the river, held an egg up high, and smashed it in the ground. For a few seconds, everybody stood there, waiting for something to happen. The weather shifted, causing the seas to clash, thunder to rumble, and lightning to flash, and everyone was confused. A heavy wind blew, and as everyone turned to see where the wind had landed, there beheld a handsome young man in the person of Obinna. They were all amazed by the great wonder. Bisi was overwhelmed with tears of joy as she hugged her son. Suddenly, all the young women in the village wanted to marry him, but he refused, citing the cruel treatment he had endured as a dwarf and an ugly boy. In the end, he got married to a princess from another kingdom. The moral of this story is that acting impulsively always leads to terrible consequences. Bisi went to a priestess who did nothing but make her child an ugly dwarf, and because she was so desperate that she didn't even realize she was pregnant. The priestess only worsened the situation by placing a curse on her child. But with determination, Obinna was able to overcome it. It doesn't matter if you were born with a silver spoon, a plastic spoon, or a disability. If you are determined to make a difference and make meaning out of your life, just like Obinna, you will surely achieve it with determination and conscious effort to make a difference in your life. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this story, tell us about it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. See you in our next story. Bye.